Hi, do you find writing a research title difficult? Probably you don't know how to begin writing the title, basically on what words to include on. So, in this video lesson on quantitative research, you are about to learn how to write an effective and well-written research title. First, what is the importance of a good and well-written research title? The title is the part of a paper that is read the most, and it is usually read first. It is therefore the most important element that defines the research study. It should provide information about the focus and or scope of your study. So, at the end of this video, you will be able to identify the different characteristics that define a well-written research title, and you will also be able to construct your own. Now, have you ever been to a bookstore or a library to look for books to read? So what do you usually look at before deciding on what book to read? It is the title. Coming up with this very simple question: what is the title of the book? To realize, a good title, therefore important, because it attracts and hooks the interest of the readers. The same thing goes with a title of a research paper. Just like how book titles embody the essence of a book in a few words, research titles have the primary purpose of introducing the research study concisely. It summarizes the content that is important to ensure that it differentiates the study from other existing research. Now, what are the different characteristics of a well-written, structured research title? First is focused and direct. It simply means that variables of the study and the field of inquiry are identified in the title. It must provide an idea of what the study is about. Second, formal. Remember that a research paper is an academic paper. Therefore, the language to be used should be proper and formal so it can be easily read and understood. So you need to use proper words and avoid abbreviations, jargon, or colloquial terms. Using any of these would make a sense of informality on the title. So, if you know what abbreviation is, it refers to a shortened form of a word or phrase. For example, DM for direct message, ATTY for attorney, QTY for quantity. So you need to use the exact word instead. So, how about jargon? So jargon refers to special words or expressions that are used by a particular profession or group and are difficult for others to understand. Examples. Examples are terms usually used by healthcare workers in the field of medicine. When they say, for example, acetol, ordinary people would hardly understand what does this word mean. While colloquial terms, for example, are slang words commonly used by native speakers. Colloquial words are considered to be non-standard, to be applied on such academic texts as research, for example. Now, another characteristic, brief but substantial. The title should not be too long, because when we say brief, it means short. So the title should not be too long or consist of many words. As much as possible, The title should be composed of not more than 16 essential words, and this would only consist of the most important information about the study. So please remember, a research title should be able to summarize the study in the fewest possible words. Again, fewest possible words. Another characteristic is clear. It means that it's easy for others to read what the researchers would tackle in the study. Basically, it answers the subject of the study if it is about education, health, politics, nature, science, etc. Lastly, it's important to observe proper grammar and capitalization. Make sure that the first letter of every word is capitalized except for some words. Like for example, are plural nouns that refer to the names of specific people, places, and things. Also, coordinating conjunctions, prepositions, and articles should be properly used. Now, how do guidelines help researchers in writing a research title? It's important that you have a guide on how to write a research title and making sure it is well written. So, here are the steps that can help you write a good research title. Number 1, put the details of the research into segments. The process of segmenting the details of the research study is helpful in determining and organizing important information. It's important that you have an outline or questions that would help you get information about your topic to select essential words you can use in the title. For example, is asking the primary objective of your research. Here's the sample. The primary objective of the research is to know whether listening to classical music helps students in improving their memorization skills. With this objective, you are giving your research a direction of the targets you need to know about your topic. As in the example, is to know whether listening to classical music helps students in improving their memorization skills. Well, aside from asking the primary objective, it is also necessary to ask the variables of your study. There are two kinds of variables you should know and identify since it's quantitative research. These are the independent and dependent variables. From the primary objective, the two big ideas are classical music and memorization skills. Classical music is the independent variable because it's the variable that may affect or is assumed to have a direct effect on the dependent variable memorization skills, for example. Aside from asking the primary objective and the variables, you should also know what method should be used and how you will measure the variables. For example, is performing an experiment. Other options are conducting a survey, focus group discussions, interviews, etc. Lastly, identify who will be the respondents to your study. Example, medical students from ABC University. So, these are the things in determining and organizing important information you need for your research title by simply asking the primary objective, variables, methods, and the respondents. Well, the second step is listing. You need to make a list of keywords based on the segments of the research details. Here are the keywords taken from the segments of the research details. These are the following. Listening to classical music from the primary objective. Improving memorization from the variables. Experiment from the methods. Medical students from ABC University, the respondents. So after listing the keywords taken from the segments of the research details, you need to draft sentences that contain the keywords. In drafting sentences that contain keywords, you need to be mindful of the length of the sentence. Now, let's put all the keywords into a sentence. Here's the sample. The study will conduct an experiment to test whether listening to classical music helps medical students from ABC University improve their memorization skills with 23 words. As you can see, all keywords are used in the sentence, such as experiment, listening to classical music, medical students from ABC University, and memorization skills. This is composed of 23 words. Remember, so as you go along, revise your research title as much as you need to throughout the writing process as long as the title still reflects the main topic of the paper. Now, after putting your research details into segments, keyword listing, drafting a sentence using the listed keywords, it's now time to formulate your research title. So here's the sample, a possible research title. An experimental research on the effects of classical music to the improvement of memorization skills of medical students of ABC University with 21 words. As you can see, from a drop sentence with 23 words down to 21 words. Remember, a research title should be brief, but substantial and composed of no more than 16 essential words. So, let's remove the unnecessary words or paraphrase to make it shorter. Here's the improved one. Effects of classical music to the memorization skills of medical students of ABC University. A research statement, a research experiment with 17 words. From 21 words to 17 words. Since it is composed of 17 words, let's do the same thing by removing the not so important words or simply paraphrase to make it even shorter. Here's the most improved one. The effects of classical music on the memorization skills of medical students in ABC University with 15 words. Try to read and analyze. Now, with 15 words, it's shorter and the essential words were not removed. Though the word experiment has been deleted, it's not gonna be necessary since the method will be discussed thoroughly in the paper. So, that's how to write a well-written research title. So, to make sure you have already learned to write a good title for your research, you try to identify the possible errors in the following research titles. We have Business Model Trials, Parental Support and its Effects on Students' Academic Achievement, Antifungal Activities from Leaf Extract of Jungle, Geranium, Exoria, Coccinia, Leaves Against Candida albicans. So, which among the three contain errors? Among these three, numbers 1 and 3 contain errors. And why do you think? In number 1, no variables are identified, while number 3, it contains jargon that are difficult terms to understand. So number 2 is correct. Since variables are identified, such as parental support, that could be the independent variable, while students' academic achievement could be the dependent variable. So, to wrap up all the important information that have been discussed in this video, remember that a research title provides a summary of the whole scope of the research in a few words. And it should be focused and direct, formal, brief but substantial, clear, and with proper grammar and capitalization. So, as researchers, you can follow the general guidelines in writing your research title, such as having a finalized topic, an initial list of sources, and an outline. So, that's how to write a well written research title for your study. I hope you have learned something from this video lesson. Thank you.